current energy crisis is a reminder that our energy systems are still built around a volatile and insecure commodity, and that's fossil fuels. Transitioning to clean energy is a must to cut emissions and to increase resilience, but replacing the whole energy system will take time. So what can we do here and now to get immediate impact? Energy efficiency is often described as the first fuel because it delivers immediate economic and climate benefits. It reduces energy demand, it lowers energy costs, it strengthens competitiveness, and it enhances energy security. And all the while helping businesses and societies to cut emissions faster. The solutions exist, they are proven, they're scalable, and they're ready to deploy. However, implementation remains, well, not as fast as we all would like. How do we change this? What kind of leadership is needed from business to drive the change at speed and at scale? Well, with me, I have three global players, all pushing hard for accelerating energy efficiency solutions in a post-fossil fuel world. Hopefully one day a post-fossil fuel world. I think that was rather over-imaginative at this particular moment. They do this in the energy efficiency movement, which connects 600 companies with energy efficiency solutions. And the newest member is the company Munters, a world leader in energy efficient climate solutions themselves. It's my pleasure to welcome first Klaus Forstrom.
That's right.
Who's CEO of Munters. Thank you very much indeed. Thomas Müller, who's President Energy Division Alfa Laval. And Eric Lambuda, President Motion Services Division ABB. Okay, let's have a few questions, shall we? I'm going to kick off with Thomas and Eric. So Alfa Laval and ABB founded the energy efficiency movement. Please tell us about this initiative and why it is needed. Either can go first.
You go ahead.
So from my perspective, when we founded the energy efficiency movement, one thing was clear at the time. Energy efficiency is extremely important. And already by then, it was clear that if we want to reach the 1.5 degree target, we need to work across industries. We need to basically really concentrate our efforts way more together. And then Thomas and I were looking at each other, so how do we do that? I mean, there is no platform to bring those like-minded parties together. So that's how we came to the idea with a few other companies at the founding stage to inaugurate the energy efficiency movement, to provide a platform for companies, leading players in the energy efficiency space to work together across the value chain. Mm-hmm. And I think now, 5 years down the road, it's more than 600 companies already. Mm-hmm. It's players now. Munters just joined. We have AFRY, Bilfinger Berger, Siemens, and Alfa Laval, and of course ABB that started off the movement. Active movers. We are all across the world, 40 countries. So it's clearly the small sets of like-minded minds, couple of companies became bigger, and now it's a real movement worldwide. It was all about driving the boardroom discussion, making people aware of what energy efficient solutions can do for the businesses. And I think now we can be pretty proud to say that it's not about convincing anymore so much, but now the energy efficiency movement goes more and more away from just convincing, but more driving speed and acceleration of energy efficient solutions, which we of course very proudly support all the companies and movers that we have in the energy efficiency movement.
Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, when you start these things up, you never know where will this lead to, right? But we felt there was a need to have the industrial voice and creating awareness around energy efficiency. And that we achieved pretty quick, beyond my expectations, I would say. And now coming in to be much more concrete, bringing in not only the 600 companies, but also, like Eric saying, the active movers. So super happy to have you with us, Klaus, because this is where we can go together, 2, 3, 4 companies in regions, in local activities, bringing policymakers together with industries, or having a pulp and paper section or steel where we become very concrete what and how we can actually do it. So I feel super proud that we, after 5 years, have the situation we have now. And I feel we are really getting to a 2.0 version now with the active movers coming in.
Klaus, Munters recently joined the initiative. So why did you do that? Why do you think it was worthwhile?
Let me start a little bit about what Munters is, and that will lead into why it's so logical and so right to join in. I mean, Munters, what we provide, that is energy efficient solutions for many critical industries, such as data center, the cooling for that type of industry, preservation, and many different industries across industry sectors when it comes to climate control. If I simplify, what we deliver, that is not only energy efficiency, it's productivity, it is improvements for our customers. So, coming back to why do we join, it resonates so well with who we are. So from that perspective, that is, you know, when you join a club that you already feel that you are a member in, I mean, then it's very easy to join the club then. So that's the reason.
And lastly, just to everybody, you say about 600 companies now. Are they all just big companies, or are there medium-sized companies? And are they all regions of the world? I mean, in other words, have you achieved your goal in terms of recruitment of members, or are there more to be welcomed into the church?
Shall I can take that one. So, I mean, from a regional or global perspective, we have roughly 1/3 being Americas members then, 1/3 being European, 1/3 being Asian. So it's really a global movement, and it's small to big companies. I would say the active movers are bigger companies. So we have Alphaval, ABB, Munters, we have Bilfinger, we have AFRY, we have Siemens. So that is where there are more muscles, where you can actually move things, and you can chip in with resources and actions, both on a global level, but also in the different regions.
Okay, good. This is a question to everybody. So please tell our viewers about the main energy efficiency solutions from your respective company. You kind of touched a bit on this, this class, but maybe flesh out a couple of examples.
Let me give you 3-4 examples then. And one of the hottest industries, literally speaking, so to speak, of today, that is data center. And what do we provide to that hot industry? We provide cooling solutions of different varieties. From evaporative cooling, we were the inventor of that many years ago, but then also into other sectors like liquid cooling, etc. And why is then energy efficient cooling so important for the data center industry? It consumes a lot of energy, and it is too much driven from a capex perspective at current, and total cost of ownership, that equals energy efficiency. And then we also move into other industries such as pharma, such as preservation, defense. It is about maintaining, securing good operations across many different industries.
And of course, the world is getting hotter, isn't it? As we found out last week at London Climate Action Week, people were falling like flies.
Arrived from Paris, and I can tell you that was super warm.
Yeah, it's really something. Yeah. Thomas.
Yeah, so we in Alphaval, we are into heat transfer technology. The technologies we deploy every year and the service we do on those is equal to energy savings of 100 gigawatts. And if we don't have heat transfer technology in the world, there will be no energy transition. There will be no increase in energy availability, etc. But we are more a technology provider, where Claes is maybe more on a system solution side. So our technologies can go into system builders and system providers. And then of course we have generations of heat exchangers that are much more efficient now than just 10-20 years ago. So you can replace, you can rebuild, you can revamp existing facilities, but then of course the new builds, we also need to get energy efficient from day one. And I think it's a brilliant example with data centers. We are putting data centers up there, popping up like mushrooms everywhere, gigawatt after gigawatt, and then 98% of the electricity use is turned into heat. And we can either use that or it can go to waste. And if that is waste, I mean, then that is stupid, right?
Got you. Yeah. Eric?
And we from ABB, we are a technology leader since 140 years, mainly in the space of electrification and as well automation. And the key for us all the time was actually energy efficiency. However, if you look a little bit back the agenda 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we talked about the 1.5 degree target. Energy efficiency was linked very much to carbon reduction, right? Now we talk more about competitiveness, energy resilience. That's pretty much what we serve and do with our products and solutions. A big part of our portfolio is around electrical motors and drives. And why is this important? Half of the world's electricity is converted in some sort of electrical motion, meaning when you have a shower, the water supply, the pumping is basically driven by electrical motors. You take an escalator, elevator, you take an electric train, or you go basically here in this beautiful building where as well the sun is shining more and more in and it's getting warmer. The cooling system, all the fans that are moving the air is basically driven by the electrical motors. And there is more than 300 million of that out there. And we are one of the leading providers. However, if we see most of those motors, they are fairly dated, 15 years, 20 years old. So of course they have been built mainly from a reliability standpoint and from a different energy efficiency level with the old technology at that time. So now, if we would change just all the motors that are out there with the latest technology, we could save 10% of world's electricity just today with the technology we have available now. So that's what we do in ABB. We are all around motors, drives, and as well about electrifying industry in order to reduce the carbon emission. Gas to electric is as well a big topic, which we are driving. And I feel the time is really about energy efficiency. We see competitiveness as a big driver next to, of course, carbon reduction and, of course, energy resilience, which my colleagues talk a lot about data center. It puts a lot of stress on the grid. So if we in industry can avoid every kilowatt that we don't use because of energy efficient solution, we'll give more space to the new technologies and be able to deploy even faster.
So there's a question here which is about, and I'm putting it first to Eric. So Eric ended that one, but he can start this one, okay, and then we move on. Installing new solutions is important, but so is improving the energy efficiency of products that are already installed and in use. In other words, I suppose this is retrofitting or at least upgrading existing equipment. How do you approach that at ABB?
Yeah, that's actually exactly right. And to be frank, the new equipment is a big topic, but actually the improvement of the efficiency of the, let's say, old installed base is an even bigger topic. And I mentioned there is 300 million motors already. We need to basically work on them as they have been installed and they have as well a useful life. So in order to be sustainable, it's not just replacing a product for higher efficiency, but as well there is a circularity aspect to it, which comes with life cycle extension and improvements. So we are driving an advisory business on our side from ABB. It's called Energy Efficiency Program, where we go together with our customers through their facilities. We map their industrial processes. We map as well which are the biggest energy consumers. And then we do together with our customers a ranking and really identify which is the places where there is the biggest saving opportunity. And while we do that, of course, there must be a payback in time. And typically a payback is between 2 to 5 years, so that is economically attractive enough to really pursue. And that's what we do with our customers. We try to not only map the operations, but help them as well to take investment decisions based on the data, but as well help them to take the investment decisions in a staged way. We can't change all in one go, but we can basically stagger our investments in the right priorities depending on the energy efficiency impact. Well, that's what we do.
Good. Thomas, and then we'll go to Klaus.
So we have just come out with the energy efficiency movement have come out with an investment report around energy efficiency. So 2,000 industrial leaders has been asked, are you investing in energy efficiency today? And 58% have said, yeah, they have CapEx programs running on energy efficiency. Another 40% say, yeah, we see the benefit and we see that we need to do something about energy efficiency, but we don't know how, and we are missing the data. So I would speak a lot about creating data, not on a complete plant level that you know how much energy you use, but really granular. So you know where you use it, how much you use, because then that's when you can get the different business cases together. And if you do that both on electricity and heat, then you will get a story where you actually have a board level CapEx program that is really interesting with a nice feedback. And that is where we, as offering energy efficiency packages, we can help when we have that data to convert that into business cases. So it can be new technologies, but it can also be technology conversion, that you have an old oil boiler that you turn into an electrical heat pump or industrial heat pump. So there are many, many tools you can use, but you need the data. And that is where industry leaders really have to make sure you have the energy meters, the smart sensors, etc.
Klaus.
Just to finish off here, I mean, we talked about retrofits, upgrades, new components. I think each and every industry, I used to say, we need to walk the talk. Industrial leaders within the company always strive to drive 3 to 5% efficiencies, and that is what we try to do for our customers as well. And two concrete examples then, that is a software combined with our controllers that used right can reduce the energy consumed between 15 to 30% in existing installations. And then if we top that off with new materials that we bring in, that could give an extra 5 to 10% as well. So I think it is about innovation in different ways and then just driving efficiencies. And I repeat, 20 years ago, everyone talked about productivity. Productivity is exactly the same as energy efficiency. It's just a different terminology.
Yeah, very good point. I was reading this International Energy Agency report that they brought out on the 26th of June on the multiple benefits of energy efficiencies for business. And what they were making the point was, and I thought that was quite interesting, was that for some companies, when you make the energy savings argument, some of the people that do the procurement or whatever go, it's not bad, but, it's, well, maybe we'll just wait a bit, But when you factor in all the other multiple benefits, it may be that the processes that you do have produce a more quality product, or there's even savings in terms of air pollution in the factories, so the health benefits to people. If you add all these things in, or in some cases, the energy efficiency comes from the fact that something doesn't wear out as quickly. So you don't have to replace it as quickly. I don't know, it might be a motor or something, yeah? But when you add all those in, you're looking at actually, in some cases, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, maybe even 100% extra benefits of going for energy efficiency. And that can tip the argument. Yeah. It's a bit like what you're saying about data, isn't it? You've got to really look at this in a granular way, to look at the big picture rather than just saying it's just energy savings. I mean, that's important in itself. But all the other benefits that come with going for energy efficiency are sometimes not factored in by companies when they're making their decisions.
Yeah. And to some extent, I think you're touching on a point. What can we do and what would we like the movement / authorities to take on? And one thing that I hear we all talk about, that is capex versus total cost of ownership. Here, I think we need to stand up, we need to convince our customers, and most probably regulators also need to push forward and say, we are not only giving incentives for capex, we are giving incentives on energy efficiency. I think that is something really to drive forward.
Very good. And the last thing I'd raise is that the report also says some interesting things about loans and government supported loans to businesses so they can embrace more energy efficiency, that in some countries they're very aware of that, and they cited the example of France. I don't know if that's the best example, but that the loan needs to be sufficiently attractive for the businesses to go for it. And certainly in China, we found out we were at the Santa Marta conference in Colombia, where all these governments want to get off fossil fuels. And we heard about the Chinese and how they'd structured that since 2015. No loan for an energy efficient or environmentally friendly process. It had to be that they were cheaper than a standard loan for something. The green loan had to be under the conventional loan. And in the banks, of course, in China, if they didn't do it, they were all fined for not delivering the cheaper loan. I mean, maybe we can't do it that way in Europe or other places, but there are a lot of things governments could do, and a lot of things I suppose you can do in the movement to make the case for doing this.
Yeah. I think we of course, we need to continue nuancing the storytelling around energy efficiency. That's one, but it is a business case. So I still think the trouble today is that when you have one concrete case, it's not so big numbers, etc. So you need to bundle things. You need to bundle the heat side. You need to bundle the electricity side, and then you can really get something that is exciting. But then the board might say, wow, that really will have an impact. But now we're also talking about a CapEx program that really put us in the priority issues here. And that's where the financial institutions and policymakers play a role. And that's also why this afternoon, when we have the CEO roundtable discussions, that we have the private sector together, we go into actions, and at each table where we will go into action mode, we also have financial institution represented and policymakers.
So what, European Investment Bank, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. How to get that vehicle accelerating things.
Okay. I'm going to move on quickly here because I know I'm asking more questions than we have here, but I just find this all a bit curious, right, and interesting. But let's look at this. Energy efficiency is important for many aspects. I think we've got that. But what about this goal set up in Dubai at the UN Climate Conference number 28 a few years ago? This was doubling the global average annual improvements from 2 to over 4% every year until 2030. Are we seeing that happening?
Step by step, but I think not as quick as everyone would like it to be, basically.
I think we need to acknowledge that from a doubling target, we are still far off. We need to shape up more. With regards to the doubling of the rates, I think what Thomas and you as well, Klaas, said is very important. Yet we are still seeing the actors around industry, policymakers and financing not yet cohesive, working too close together enough, right? So if we truly want to double the rates of the energy efficiency adoption, those three parties, industry, policymakers and financing companies, need to get even closer and build their ties.
Because the government set this, so you would hope the governments want to see it realised. And if they want to see it realised, these governments have to basically adopt the policies to make this thing soar, yeah?
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think also, I mean, now we have the crisis in the Middle East with the Hormuz Strait. We have just heard from Dan Jørgensen that Europe has been paying 50 billion euro more for the same amount of black molecules since 28th of February. And that, of course, reminds us all about energy efficiency again. But we are definitely below the targets. At the same time, if you look at Europe and look at the last 20 years, if Europe wouldn't have improved the energy efficiency, we would have been using 29% more gas than today. So it is big numbers, but it's difficult to get the granularity going that would deliver the 4%.
And also would there be queues for cars stretching from here to Finland, waiting to get petrol, right? Which we don't have. Again, we don't have it because we've got better at some things, So I think you've talked a little bit about the difference the energy efficiency movement can make by bringing the power of these now 600 companies together. And I think that's clear. But what are you hoping for? Hoping is a wrong word maybe, but what would you like to see at the end of this? And what would you like to see at the say the next UN climate conference? Well, what do you want? You want to see more commitment from governments, don't you?
But no, that is right. And I have to compliment the two gentlemen here on my right and as founding fathers of this movement, because it is a movement. And how do you drive a movement? You join in more and more people. You join in more and more companies, and the more everyone is talking, the clearer it becomes. So I think that is the ultimate purpose of energy efficiency movement. That is, it needs to move on, it needs to accelerate, and it is like the water drip on the stone. I mean, it will come, but we cannot give up.
Yeah, sometimes you're climbing a mountain, you don't know where the top is, but once you've got the top, it runs very fast down the other side.
And I think as a movement, we can see we are working very closely with IEA now. We are working very closely together with Brussels, other governments. So we are giving them an opportunity to quite easily speak with the industries. Because before that, it was difficult, should we contact that company or that company? But we represent now the industry. So we give the industry a voice, but we also give access to inviting the industry in. So we are here with the IEA conference. We were in London Climate Week last week. We will be at the COP31. And this is a planning wheel where the story just keeps growing. It's not individual incidents. It's really a movement that put layer after layer after layer on this.
I think that's very well said from both of you, and I believe as well, now as the movement is growing, as well, we very much invite people from the financing industry to join as well the movement, have basically people from the operate and maintain area as well joining. So the more diverse the groups get, the better it can just go. And I'm not a believer of hope, right? I think the more basically we will drive the agenda and talk about it, the more luckier we'll get, right? And the more successful we get. So the aim is really to drive it up as a boardroom agenda, as a boardroom priority. Successful companies do have a clear capex plan, like you laid out, Thomas. And I do believe as well, successful companies are not coming by surprise. It is because from a board level perspective, there is a clear direction set. There is a clear accountability on who's supposed to deliver it. But there is as well within a company, the alignment of incentives. A procurement department, same like a site manager, same like a design engineer, are all going into the same direction. And that's something we really need to drive all across industry and across the value chain.
Well, good. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, it would be interesting. It would be good, actually, I think, at the UN Climate Conference 31 in Turkey, co-hosted by Turkey and Australia. That sounds complex, but anyway. Maybe bring some of the companies from the different regions around the world in this energy efficiency movement to see, in a sense, very visibly the strength of this movement in all regions. And I think that could be quite interesting to shuffle the pack with not just great European leaders like yourselves, but shuffle the pack with you, but also with Asian leaders and African leaders and Latin American leaders and so on. That could be very interesting to see, yeah. Good. Well, it doesn't end here. It goes on. But fantastic to have you on We Don't Have Time here at the International Energy Agency Energy Efficiency Conference in Montreal, Canada. Thank you. So if you want to learn more about energy efficiency and some of the amazing solutions now being deployed around the world, then why not go to wedon'thavetime.org and check out our energy efficiency action campaign site. And you can see at first hand what companies like Munters and ABB and Alfa Laval and others are actually up to.